ऐसे करो लाइव करने से। ओके शुरू करें। ठीक, ओके। सो गुड मॉर्निंग, सुप्रभात। So now today's is the lecture on introduction to Indian philosophy. Now as you know, this lecture was supposed to be on the last Monday itself. We had taken introduction orientation session for the philosophy, I think on Saturday, previous Saturday, and last Monday it was expected to be there, but on, you know what happened on last Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, I think Saturday, on the same day, I think, when we had the orientation lecture on the same day in the evening, the most unfortunate event happened. Yes, good morning people. So because of that, then as a gesture of solidarity, all the mainstream coachings, they had decided not to have any classes. Only those who are writing mains, we continue to give them support through online things, but classes were not happening. And from today onwards, we are starting on online, only online for now. Okay, so that's the reason this 1 week gap was there. You know about the incident, and it is very unfortunate. Sometimes life, you know, when we see same incident, little digression, I'll take just 2-3 minutes. Same incident can be seen in a very different way. You know, a lawyer sees it in a very different way. You know, what legal provision, what happened, who was wrong. Police will see it in a different way, whom to arrest. Socially, somebody will say, you know, this is how things happen. You know, society where there is no rule based. India is not a rule based society. Those who have, you know, power get away with things. But just think how the family members will be thinking. Now, when we say how the mother or father or brother, whichever way, of those who lost their lives, unfortunately, would be thinking, that is kind of a shock to them. Okay, I'm just asking you to think think what they would be going through. Now, once something of that sort hits you, you become a very different person, because what happens then? So many assumptions that you have. Now, when we say assumption about lives, assumptions means true. You know, this is how it is. I assume that is to be true. Now, till the time this thing did not happen, this shock did not happen, it was true only for you. Now you are saying it as assumption because something hit you, and for you it's like, is there really God? I am sure this kind of questions would have come to the minds of the family members, and certainly if we were at their place, we will also think what the thing is happening, like, you know, why with me? Certainly it will happen. And when these kind of questions happen, you are not at all ready to accept anything that is established, and which is very obvious, very natural. If something of that sort happens to you also, same is the thing going to happen with you. That's why if you see those who go through a lot of suffering and pain, they are the ones who become either poet or philosophers. Why? Because then you are not ready to accept the thing as everyone is accepting. You are like, no, it is not that, I want to question. So, and that's where the same inspiration of questioning is taken to the next level by those who are called philosophers in a very intellectual way, in a very detailed way. that, you know, for example, if the same family members would meet Shankaracharya, what would Shankaracharya say? Anyway, I was telling you, this is all appearance. Or any sensible, genuine spiritual leader of India, anybody, you take any name, even today's some who are authentic, they will say, this is all Maya. They will only say, see, we understand, we are with you, there is a lot of pain, we understand, but please be very careful, death is the only reality or ultimate end for everyone. That's how they will talk. Why? Because they want to bring to your notice that what you consider as true is actually an assumption, or what you consider as real is actually appearance. फिलोसॉफी में यही तो पूरा डिबेट होता है, what is reality and what is not reality appears as reality. Real क्या है? Appearance है. लग रहा था कि ऐसे करेंगे, this is the dream some for which I am ready to give everything for my life, blah blah, and then suddenly everything stop, and then that's why we say we are clueless. Okay, so anyway, again mentioning that it was very unfortunate incident, and we all tried to be, and we all are with the family members, we tried on our to the capacity, best of our capacity, to be with them. But the point I was trying to communicate is, the whole philosophy is kind of a discussion session on what is real and what is appearance. And you need to understand the meaning of the word appearance. How would you define appearance? Something that is not real but appears to be real. See, something that is not real, it's anyway asatya. We are not talking about asatya, we are talking about mithya. Mithya is something which appears to be truth, but if it is not. Asatya is anyway asatya. Like for example, wings of cows. Cow doesn't have wings, so it's asatya anyway. Sky lotus. There is nothing called sky lotus. Okay, or horses horns, घोड़े के सिंग. There is nothing called horses horns, so it is asatya. But what we are talking about is mithya, that is appearance, or the word is illusion. And why I am saying this? This mithya, illusion, reality, sat, this is all the criteria, this is all the area of discussion for all the Indian philosophers. Everybody ultimately will talk about truth क्या है और truth क्या नहीं है. ठीक? Any doubt till now? So we are just starting, or we have started with a thought, or with a understanding, with the opening statement that this real and appearance debate is the central debate for all the Indian philosophers. Everybody will have their own version, what is real, what is not, what is appearance, what is not, and stuff, right? Kuch doubt? Just starting. I have not come up with anything about syllabus, just an orientation that everybody, not just Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya takes it to the more systematic level. But everybody ultimately talks about real kya hai, real kya nahi hai. So philosophy, as you know, or darshan shastra, jaise bhi want to call it, and for now, whenever say be philosophy, now you should assume that we are talking about Indian philosophy, because we already started the Indian part of it. Okay, you know the paper 1, paper 2, it has section A, section B, section A, section B, Western philosophy, Indian philosophy, socio-political philosophy, religious philosophy. That's how our papers are. Now we are starting with Indian first, then we'll go with Western. That's how paper 1 will be over. Okay, and that's why we started off with today introduction to Indian philosophy. Now in introduction to Indian philosophy, I am just kind of creating a kind of entry point for you to start thinking in that direction, that reality, the debate about reality. Reality क्या है, appearance क्या है, the debate. Basically, the word in for reality in Indian context is Sat or truth, but the word is like this, Sat. It is also called truth. Okay, so everybody will talk about what is the truth, what is the Satya. Now you have to tell me, if I am any of the philosophers, be it Buddhism, Buddha or Shankaracharya, if I am talking about or if I am explaining my own version of Sat, what I am talking about, what is it called? We already discussed in the previous lecture, I just want to connect it to the previous lecture. When I am, like for example, I have my own version, my own explanation of what is reality. That means it is my, no, assumption is not. I am saying it's my explanation. Now I am getting into the okay, viewpoint, but what is it called in a technical context? It is darshan, very good in English. You are right, it is my darshan, very good in English. When I am talking about reality, what is it called? You know the word, but you are not able to connect it because, so it is my version of metaphysics. So it is my metaphysics. So if I say Brahm is the only reality, there is nothing beyond Brahm, what I am talking about? It is my metaphysics, Shankaracharya's metaphysics. If Buddha says, no, Nirvana is the only reality, there is no reality beyond Nirvana, for example I am saying, or there is no reality for whatsoever, the only reality is Shunya, Shunyavada of Nagarjuna. What is it? It is metaphysics of Nagarjuna. If Nyaya says, no, reality is physical also, mental also, physical reality has its own existence, mental reality is additional, different, whatever. The moment that particular philosopher is talking about their own version of reality, that is theory of reality, that means they are talking about their metaphysics. Now you already know, when we say philosophy, as far as our syllabus is concerned and otherwise also, but now as far as our syllabus is concerned, you know what is the, what does that indicate when we say metaphysics? We are actually talking about the theory of reality. So when we say philosophy, either we will be talking about theory of reality or we will be talking about theory of knowledge. So either it will be metaphysics or it will be epistemology. Try to understand these words, because initial 5 to 10 lectures, you should be asking questions, you should be, to the extent possible, clarify the meaning of the words. Once it is clarified, no, because later on we are just going to use it again and again, there is nothing new. So what is reality? Okay, if just imagine there is this philosopher, whoever it is, he says this is the reality, blah blah blah, this is the thing, reality, who is real, who is not real, chair is real, not real, Brahm is real. He is actually, that whole passage is called his metaphysics. Then he will say, okay, let me also tell you, how would you know that? How would you know Brahm? What is the process to know the Brahm? Do you know, can you know it through perception? Can you know it through seeing, tasting, touching? What is the method? What is the modus operandi to know? Then it is that person's epistemology. And in addition, especially in Indian, good morning ARJ, especially in Indian, additionally to this, there is one more thing. Tell me, when it comes to Indian philosophers, when they will talk about something, they will always tell you at the end, what would be the talk about, what would they talk about? Okay, now think very commonsensically, not very theoretically. If you go to any philosopher, you talk to, this is real, this is not real, you are like, yes Babaji, yes Guruji, whichever way, and this is how you will know it and all, everything, okay. Ultimately what would be your initial last question before you leave? Exactly. What should I do now? आपने बोला एकदम I am I'm your disciple now, and होता ऐसे ही होता है इंडिया में tradition. What now you tell me what should I live? How should I live my life? ये तो समझ में आ गया मुझे, and intellectually समझ में आ गया. How would I live my life accordingly? That is in Indian philosophy is called ethics. Basically, what is right for me to do, what is apt for me to do, what is best for me to do, right? So, metaphysics, epistemology and ethics. Now, in ethics, there are some important pointers that comes. As we say, ethics means some code, do this, don't do this, and there will be also some conception of God, or for that matter, this ethics part traditionally in Indian context is kind of comprehensively covered in the concept of purusharthas. इसका भी एक theory है. Purusha here is human being, or that consciousness part of the human being, Purusha. Artha is purpose, meaning, right? So Purushartha is basically some things or which gives meaning to your life. That's what you're looking for. कि मैं क्या करूँ? That means what is that meaningful thing that I should be doing so that my ethics is followed, my code is followed. Okay, that Purushartha in Indian context are of, or there are 4 Purusharthas. You know this already, and it will be part of your prelim syllabus. Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Now, first 3 nobody has any doubt. Now here basically dharma means righteousness, socially and otherwise, what is right for me to do. Artha is resources, wealth. Kama is enjoyment, and moksha is liberation. So if you go to any Indian philosopher or classical at least Indian philosopher, they will be talking about, or they will be taking into consideration these 4. This is actually coming down from Vedas. That dharma, artha, kama and moksha. These are the purusharthas according to Indian traditional system or Veda. On the basis of these 4 only, everybody will talk about their own reality. Like for example, there are some schools who will say this moksha and all this all bakwas, you know, it's all useless. Who will say this? Charvaka. So Charvaka says only dharma, artha, kam, there is no moksha. This is all, you know, ऐसी intellectual चीजें हैं, इसमें कोई reality नहीं है. They have their own version of reality. But most of the other thinkers except Charvaka will accept moksha in some or the other way, including Buddha, Jaina. Okay, we'll come to it. So when we say Indian philosophy, we actually talking about their metaphysics. कि उनका कुछ तो एक वर्जन होगा कि रियलिटी है, रियलिटी वो नहीं. They will talk about chair, they will talk about trees, mountains, animals, body, mind, basically explanation of everything that you are saying and beyond also. Epistemology, how would you know this? So there are different theories. Like the way we have dharma, artha, kama, moksha in purusharthas, there are different ways to know things, or that is called sources of valid knowledge. Sources of valid knowledge, or valid sources of knowledge, whichever way you want to say. Okay, we will see it when we say epistemology. Okay, and then comes ethics, that is do's and don'ts. When in ethics, obviously conception of God is also important. Now this conception of God, now you know ethics is what you should do, what you should not do. That is do's and don'ts. Basically, it is about your achara, conduct, right? But tell me, any person who has their own philosophy, who has explained you about reality in their own way, Sat, whichever way, like it would be Brahm, Nirvan, Kaivalya Gyan, Mahavir, whichever way they want to explain their theory, different theories. When they have their own metaphysics, don't you think that their ethics also highly impacted by their metaphysics? Whatever their reality, accordingly they will tell you. Like if Charvak says, there is nothing like God and all, accordingly their ethics is, अरे जो मन में है करो. But when somebody says there is Brahm, your conduct is according to Brahm, that is called Brahmachar. So Brahmachari, the word we use, is actually your conduct according to the conception of Brahm, not for your own gains. That's why it is ultimately or universal behavior. So Brahmachari is somebody who does the behavior which can be universally accepted. Less possessions, less indulgence into the bodily pleasures, less accumulation, renunciation, वही ब्रह्मचारी होता है. ये इंग्लिश में ब्रह्मचारी का मतलब उन्होंने बहुत ले लिया celibacy. They are fools actually. Literally, I can tell you they are fools. Celibacy, even when you are married, you can still be brahmachari. You know that is Indian context. लोग बोलते हैं ऐसे कैसे, ऐसे ही होता है. So many rishi munis that they have got married and they are brahmacharis. It's a different thing altogether. वो देखेंगे हम ब्रह्मचार क्या होता है. But यही that this English language, along with Max Muller's and others, Macaulay's, they have literally destroyed the way we think. And thank God things are coming back, because when we study Wittgenstein, not so much in detail, but you will understand this dominance of language, especially on the humanities, is very huge. You come up with the concept of brahmacharya and there is a celibacy. Okay, celibacy, it's okay. It's not celibacy. You know how even Jain monks, Buddhist monks and sannyasis, their whole life, every movement that they do is done for sake of achieving Brahm, Nirvana or Kaivalya. That is brahmacharya. Not just not getting married is not at all brahmacharya. You might be not getting married because you are not getting the right person, but you are indulging into all physical pleasures. It's not brahmacharya. Okay. So बहुत issue हुआ है. There has been a lot of destruction only because we adopting, and that अभी भी वही कर रहे हैं. क्या कर सकते हैं? Practical problem है. That we are discussing Sanskrit. I am studying Sanskrit in English, telling you in English, like that. तो वो है अलग अलग issues, but ठीक है, वो अलग issue है. But at least this awareness should be there that there are so many words that there is no, like dharma. Okay, only naive and I would say illiterates can translate dharma into religion. Illiterate, I am saying in a very technical sense, not in a derogatory sense. Those who do not know the meaning of the word dharma, okay, they say that it is religion. Religion is a very, very different word. We will see in paper 2 here, philosophy of religion में, ये कि धर्म अलग है, religion अलग है, मजहब अलग है, everything, and that word itself connotes to something that is real. Dharma does not connotes to cult. Religion automatically makes a cult. Dharma is something about you and your duty. Religion means, okay, identity. Anyway, we'll come to it later. So now, so when it comes to Indian philosophy, now this whole one table will make everything very clear. When we talk about Indian philosophy, and this I am talking about our syllabus only, right? Indian philosophy, one is metaphysics, epistemology, and now here so many things can be clubbed together. If we talk about ethics, now this ethics has nothing to do with paper 4, little bit, but not that way. Ethics, or you can call God, or you can call bondage liberation. एक ही चीज है वो. When you will study, you will understand. ये थोड़ा I am just giving you the basic framework of what all the syllabus can be on this one paper, right? And how many schools we have? Charvak. Yeah, how would you remember? See, always keep Charvak is like Charvak, additional school in the starting, and keep Aurobindo in the last. He is like very new 20th century philosopher. You know Aurobindo, ICS philosophy, UPSC crack किया था उन्होंने. Freedom fighter, Abhinav Bharat and all that. So this is like materialistic school. Then comes two very similar schools, that is Buddha and Jaina. Same story, both from Bihar, both left, both were prince, both left the house, both attend the meditation, both fall under the Shramana Parampara, go out and do your thing, not ritualistic. They came with their own philosophy, their own liberation technique, achieving the nirvana and stuff, and both have their own religion now. Okay, or Panth, Sampradaya you can call. So Charvak is different, these two fellows are different. And then comes the classical Indian thought, that is called these 6 fellows. It is also called Shad Darshana. Shada means Shada means 6. So who are these 6? Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, Vedanta. And in this also they come in pairs, that is ये दोनों भाई हैं, ये दोनों भाई हैं, ये दोनों, these are two brothers, these are two brothers, and these are two brothers. Now why brothers means basically they complement each other. One's philosophy is complementary to the other, like that. ठीक, are you with me? समझ में आ रहा है? So now everybody will have their own metaphysics, their own epistemology. Now what is metaphysics? Theory of reality. What is epistemology? Theory of knowledge. Very good. And ethics is basically do's and don'ts, or basically bondage liberation. It is also called moksha shastra or soteriology. Theory of liberation. क्या करने से आप लिबरेट होंगे? Okay. So what is this liberation? How to get it? What will happen after the liberation? Simple cheese. Now why I am telling all this is the classical or best part of Indian philosophy is that it is directly can be made related to your own experiences today. ये सीधा ह्यूमन बीइंग की बात करेंगे, इंटेलेक्चुअल सिर्फ बात नहीं करेंगे. ह्यूमन लाइफ, ह्यूमन एक्सपीरियंस, ह्यूमन नॉलेज, ह्यूमन दिस थिंग. सो एक रियलिटी बता दिया. फॉर एग्जांपल Charvak आ गए, like for actually no, Charvak is more like a reaction to this. Charvak is not having any original philosophy, but just imagine Charvak is saying, अरे like I'm Charvak and you are coming to me. देखो ये कुछ रियल कुछ नहीं है, सब ऐसे ही है. किसी ने बैठ के किताब, somebody just sat and wrote some big jargons and big philosophies. There is nothing like that. Whatever you are doing, just do it for your own happiness. And by the way, nowadays this philosophy is taking rounds also. अरे कुछ नहीं, क्रेडिट कार्ड से भी if you want to spend money and enjoy. कल किसने देखा है? That's how people say. And forget our rebirth. कहाँ कौन rebirth? Do whatever you want to do. Have you ever seen that in next Janma Hitler became some kind of animal that some small animal he got into and people are hitting with this is the Hitler. ये dog है, इसको मारो, ये Hitler था. ऐसे किसी ने देखा ही नहीं है. So who is saying that there is next Janma? Now whatever they are talking about, although they are talking about in the reaction to the already established philosophies, but what are they saying? What are the Charvak saying? This is all bakwas. Means Charvak has their own version of their own reality. Reality यही है material. ये chair है बस, enjoy करो. How, in what way I can enjoy this chair? If there is mountain, okay, what way I can exploit it? If there is forest, okay, what way I can exploit it so that I am happy, And happiness means physical pleasures, tasty food, sexual intercourses, emotional this. So, or basically food, okay, and exploit anything that you need, like what we are doing nowadays. Human beings, all they are exploiting all the environment. Charvak. So if that is the metaphysics of Charvak, tell me on what it would be based on. What are the sources of knowledge that we will be talking about? There is no source of knowledge and all. Whatever you see is real. बाकी सब कोई बोलेगा गॉड था, मुझे सपने में गॉड, ये सब बकवास है. चेहरा दिख रहा है, that's all. If I am not able to see something, I am not going to accept it. Not even inference. We'll come to it detail में. Okay, not even inference. ओके, सो जो भी प्रत्यक्ष, दैट इज परसेप्शन इज द ओनली वैलिड सोर्स, ये उनका एपिस्टेमोलॉजी। सो बेसिकली चार्वाक क्या बोलेगा, प्रत्यक्ष इज द ओनली वैलिड सोर्स ऑफ नॉलेज, material is the only reality. So there is nothing non-material that is real, you know, some kind of soul, some kind of God, some kind of कर्मा, प्रारब्ध कर्मा, संचित कर्मा, ये सब कुछ नहीं होता है। जो दिख रहा है वो सच है और आप सच है, एंजॉय करो। नाउ इफ मटेरियल इज द ओनली रियलिटी, मेटाफिजिक्स, परसेप्शन इज द ओनली प्रमाण, प्रमाण मीन्स वैलिड सोर्स ऑफ नॉलेज, तो उनका एथिक्स क्या होगा? Pleasure is the only ethics. So it's the simplest, that's why. Now you understood how metaphysics, epistemology, ethics are connected. So metaphysics is, Charvak metaphysics is, it's all reality is, whatever this jargonized thing, not there, only whatever I am, this material is the only reality basically, material. Here perception or pratyaksha is the only praman. And ethics, that is pleasure, or that is also called hedonism. Now, okay, let me tell you one thing, the thing that we were talking about, how words are very important. This is called, this theory where material is the only reality is called materialism. But normally we use materialistic, means what? We use in this context, अरे वो बहुत materialistic, you know, too much materialistic philosophy means gather the material and enjoy the material. That is actually called pleasure. Hedonism is the right word for this, not materialism. Materialism is a very intellectual theoretical concept where it says material is the only real, non-material कुछ नहीं होता, soul कुछ नहीं होता. There is nothing like something that is non-material. You understood? So when we say materialism, what are we talking about? When we say materialism, we are not talking about that pleasure is the only reality. But normal sense में हम क्या करते हैं, हम बोलते हैं कि अरे वो materialistic है, और materialistic approach towards life, मतलब what, no ethics, nothing, बस material gather करो, नहीं, उसको बोलते हैं hedonistic way of life. मटेरियलिज्म एक प्रॉपर थियरी है जिसमें रियलिटी की बात होती है कि ये द रियलिटी इज मटेरियलिस्टिक ओनली और नॉन मटेरियल चीजें भी रियल है. ओके, फॉर एग्जांपल, as against materialism there is against, if materialism somebody says, the other side will say spiritualism. So there is something non materialism, means spirit में कुछ है, god है, soul है, energy है, whatever. So materialism अलग है, hedonism अलग है. ठीक है, hedonism के अपोजिट क्या है? ऑस्टेरिटी. ऑस्टियर मतलब एकदम संन्यास भाव, कुछ नहीं, सब रिनाउंसिएशन, उसके एग्जैक्टली अपोजिट है हेडोनिज्म. ठीक है, हम आएंगे उस पे. वन टर्म्स भी समझने की, जस्ट ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द टर्म्स बिकॉज परहैप्स मोस्ट ऑफ यू वुड बी लिसनिंग टू दिस टर्म फर्स्ट टाइम, राइट? सो इट्स ऑलवेज बेटर फॉर यू टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आर द मीनिंग्स ऑफ द टर्म्स. एनी डाउट टिल नाउ? Now Buddhism, Jainism, they have their own metaphysics. Now henceforth they have very, very different theories that they will come up with. Okay, within Vedanta also there are Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, like that. Within Mimamsa there are two fellows. Okay, within Nyaya also, within Nyaya and Vaiseshic different, Sankhya and Yoga different. Everybody has their own. We will not go in detail of each and every one here, but context that I was trying to tell you is metaphysics, try to understand. So whenever we say anything, okay, for example, now henceforth when it comes to studying the Indian philosophers, it becomes very, very compulsory, imperative to study something called theory of causation. Okay, theory of causation. What is theory of causation? Theory of cause. Okay, cause means उसके पीछे का कारण, like So it is also called karya karan mimamsa. Okay, karya karan mimamsa. Karya karan mimamsa. Now what is karya karan mimamsa? Here I will tell you one interesting thing here, important thing. In Indian philosophy there is this word called karya karana. Now these words will be repeated again and again in your syllabus, so it's better you make it very clear now. And mimamsa or mimamsa. The meaning of the word karya, normally we say karya means work, activity, okay, or something that has happened, karya, okay, but here karya is effect. In philosophy the word karya means effect. Always remember, karya means effect, and effect is always talked about. Whenever effect is talked about, there is always another thing that automatically comes with it, is karana, that is cause. Now this is very, very important. You have to remember this translation, because you will, then only you will be able to understand the karya karan mimamsa. Now mimamsa here means basically analysis, contemplation, or thinking on. You know, those who would have written some like Hindi or regional language में, basically हिंदी में अगर कहीं एग्जाम दिया होगा तो उसमें आता है ना सवाल में नीचे निम्नलिखित प्रश्नों की और निम्नलिखित मुद्दों की मीमांसा कीजिए. मीमांसा means description, explanation, analysis, basically something in which you put your brain into, basically analysis of it. So karya karan mimamsa is cause and effect analysis, or basically cause and effect analysis means bringing out the relation between cause and effect, or talking about relation between cause and effect. Now what is this cause and effect? Like for example, rain, barish is the cause, and waterlogging, okay, or for example muddy roads is the effect. Yes or no? We also know this. Or other example, milk is the cause and curd is the effect, okay. Or another example, milk is the cause, curd is the effect. Or for example, you have cotton and clothes, okay, or wood and chair or furniture. Cause effect, cause effect, cause effect, right. So you understood what cause and effect means? It is the antecedent पहले का invariable relationship. So something that is antecedent invariable, okay, on which the other thing or through which the other thing comes. So you understood what cause and effect? Something is a cause and something is a effect. So something that is preceded, something through which the other thing comes out, okay. So ये cause and effect, and we know, like for example, if you switch the your activity of switching the switch on, and the bulbs get on or the tube gets on, so the light coming through tube is an effect of you switching it on, cause and effect. समझ में आ रहा है cause and effect? or anything for that matter. If you do this, this will happen. Okay, for example, seed is the cause of the tree. Seed leads to tree. So seed is the cause of tree. So cause and effect is something like this. So when we write, generally we write it like this: cause, effect. ये डायरेक्शन हमेशा ऐसे ही रहेगा. Milk and curd. Okay, or rain and mud. Okay, cotton is an example. I am just giving you examples. Cloth or cloth. So cause and effect. So that relationship between cause and effect, it becomes very crucial when it comes to understanding the metaphysical explanation of Indian philosophers. Now, why it is important to understand cause and effect for understanding metaphysics of anybody? Tell me. So, okay, this is one way that, see, whenever we see something, any change for that matter, immediately as a human being, what struck to our mind? ये क्यों हुआ? Why did this happen? Now, why did this happen means what was the previous thing which led this to happen? So cause and effect क्या है? एक तरीके से sequential चीज है. In time, effect cannot be before cause. In time, some time के इस parlance में effect cannot be before cause. So वो unit, that's why we show it like this, unit direction. So when you understand, if you really want to understand something now, ये chair इधर है और ये mountain इधर है, और there is some thunderstorm, बिजली गिर गई, lightning happened, so and something happened. Obviously you will say, like, why did it happen? Why suddenly it stuck here? Is there any reasoning behind? Basically you are trying to find the cause. So it's a normal Indian normal human reasoning mind which will automatically goes to find for what is the cause of this. So that's why when it comes to Indian metaphysics, the basis is theory of causation, right? So when we say Indian metaphysics, we are basically somehow start of thinking on the basis of theory of causation. Without theory of causation, can you talk about anything of metaphysics? No. Automatically your brain goes into what is your metaphysics theory, what is your stand on theory of causation. Accordingly your metaphysics will be. Thick. So metaphysics is basically theory of causation. So now there are different versions of theory of causation. Okay. First is called Satkaryavad. I'll tell you what it is. Now these words are very important because it will be repeated almost every lecture. Then Asatkaryavad. Then there is something called Pratitya Samutpadavad. I am just bringing these terms to you. I am not teaching anything today in the sense हर एक के लिए दो लेक्चर लगते हैं. सिर्फ सत्कार्यवाद समझने के लिए पूरा लेक्चर होता है, सिर्फ असत्कार्यवाद समझने के लिए पूरा 1-2 लेक्चर लगते हैं. प्रतित्व समुत्पाद तो 2-3 लेक्चर चलता है. So no need to worry about it, just understand. Now you know what vada means in Sanskrit? Ism, theory or ism, and karya means already seen effect. Now sat or asat here is yes or no, होना या नहीं होना. We'll see it how. Then there is something called Pratitya Samutpadavad, Satkaryavad. These are the basic Asatkaryavad. Then there are some versions within Asatkaryavad also. Vivartavad, Parinamavad, These are part of theory of causation or central or part of the metaphysics. Now I will tell you, wait, it's better if you draw this diagram, then you will understand. And this you should draw because this diagram is going to be of big help to you. Theory of causation, right? In bracket, कार्य कारण मीमांसा. Some people write कारण कार्य, some people write कार्य कारण. That's okay. But किसकी मीमांसा है ये? Analysis है कार्य और कारण. Now, what is this theory of causation? This is very central to Indian philosophy. Without understanding theory of causation, आप Indian philosophy का E भी नहीं लिख सकते. Whole paper, all the questions you have to mention about something about theory of causation. Now, what is this theory of causation basically talking about? एक चार्ट के रूप में देखें. Theory of causation is nothing but discussion on the question that does effect pre-exist in cause. ये क्वेश्चन मार्क, जैसे एल्गोरिदम होता है ना, क्या इफेक्ट पहले से ही कॉज में है? जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कर्ड है, मिल्क से कर्ड बनता है, सो मिल्क इज अ कॉज, कर्ड इज एन इफेक्ट. बट दे से इट इज नॉट दैट कर्ड इज सडनली कमिंग फ्रॉम समवेयर. It was already part of the milk in a different form, in a potential form, which became actual. You're getting the point? So some schools say, some school answer yes, the effect is already there in the cause. ये हम बाद में फिर से भी पढ़ेंगे, don't worry. जब हम सत्कार्यवाद पढ़ेंगे तो फिर से पढ़ेंगे. I'm just telling you now very briefly, you just grasp the try to grasp the terms and try to understand what is being discussed. So does effect pre-exist in cause? Yes. Some will say no. Can there be any third answer? No. Either है या नहीं है. Now those who say yes, that cause इफेक्ट जो है ऑलरेडी कॉज में प्री एग्जिस्ट करता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल द क्लासिकल एग्जाम्पल दैट दे देमसेल्व्स गिव इज दैट ऑफ कर्ड एंड मिल्क. सो दे से सी कर्ड इज नॉट समथिंग सडनली कमिंग फ्रॉम नोवेयर, इट वाज एनीवे पार्ट ऑफ द मिल्क, इट जस्ट ट्रांसफॉर्म इटसेल्फ इनटू समथिंग एल्स. वही लैक्टिक एसिड है, वही लैक्टोज है, वही चीजें हैं, खुद को थोड़ा चेंज करके इस फॉर्म में आ गए. और फॉर दैट मैटर ऑयल सीड्स, ओके, आप सरसों के सीड्स ले लो, उससे जो ऑयल निकलता है. नाउ दिस मस्टर्ड सीड से ही मस्टर्ड ऑयल निकलेगा, बिकॉज ऑयल वाज देयर इन द सीड, it just got pressed, it got the transformation into something other thing. But this effect called oil, effect called curd was there respectively in their previous things. Yes, making sense? So वो बोल रहे कि yes, कार्य, that is effect. Effect means कार्य. कार्य is already there. कार्य is already there. Effect is already there. So ऐसी इज्म जिसमें कार्य है वाद, क्या होगा फिर ये? इसका नाम है सत कार्यवाद. सत कार्यवाद. बेसिकली yes, effect pre-exist in cause. It's called सत्कार्यवाद. So इसके अपोजिट क्या होगा? वेरी गुड, असत्कार्यवाद. ओके, अभी के लिए उनका एक्सप्लेनेशन में ज्यादा नहीं दूंगा, आई विल जस्ट एक्सप्लेन यू लेटर ऑन एज टू व्हाट इट इज देयर आर्गुमेंट इज. असत मीन्स व्हाट, लाइक व्हाई आर दे सेइंग दैट नो 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 कॉज इज इफेक्ट डज नॉट एग्जिस्ट इन कॉज, वो नया बिगनिंग है, ब्ला 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 जो भी. नाउ for sake of remembering, you just remember some things here. In Asat Karyavad, there are different versions. One is called Parinamavad. The word Parinama means transformation. Like the milk is completely getting transformed into कर्ड. ट्रांसफॉर्म, फॉर्म ही ट्रांस हो रहा है, तो परिणाम हो रहा है. ओके. अदर टाइप ऑफ सत्कार्यवाद इज कॉल्ड विवर्तवाद. हियर विवर्त इज बेसिकली प्रोजेक्शन. Okay, vivarth, reflection, projection, like that. We'll come to it what all these means. Satkaryavad also has two this thing, Arambhavad and Pratitya Samutpadvad. प्रतीत्य समुत्पादवाद. ठीक. In Parinamvad there is one more classification, but this is more like a than classification is a types. Prakriti Parinamvad. And second is Brahm Parinamvad. Again I am telling you for now just try to take things as it is. This diagram is going to be repeated at least 20 times before Indian philosophy is over. So it will be anyway by mugged up by you. इतना मैं खुद ही लिखूंगा, it will be referred to very repeatedly. Then in Vivartvad there is one famous prototype of it or version of it, that is called Brahma Vivartvad. Brahma Vivartvad. Now this diagram is at least, you will be drawing this diagram at least once in your paper each year. There will be at least one question which will poke you to write at least once this diagram. Okay, that's important it is. ये बेसिकली क्या है इसको भी मैं आपको बताता हूँ. सत्कार्यवाद is basically what Sankhya philosophy comes up with, and specific version of Satkaryavad that Sankhya comes with is Sankhya. Brahma Parinamvad Ramanuja Charya or Ramanuja, that is Vedanta. Then Brahma Vivartvad is Shankara. Arambhavad is Nyaya Vaisheshik. Pratitya Samutpadvad is Buddha. And rest of the people will be aligning with either of these. So they do not have any separate thought, तो उनका नहीं आएगा. और एक पर्सन है जो किसी से कभी अलाइन नहीं करता, कौन है? चारवाक. तो चारवाक तो बोलता है देखो ये कॉज एंड इफेक्ट रिलेशन ही बकवास है, कॉजेशन करके कुछ नहीं होता कि ये कॉज है इफेक्ट. ही कम्स अप विद हिज स्वभाववाद. जो भी होता है ऑटोमेटिक होता है, देयर इज नो कॉज इफेक्ट, everything happens just by chance. Every next moment is by chance the antecedent of or precedent, next sequential phase of the previous moment. उसमें कोई cause effect ऐसा relation नहीं होता, ये बस होता रहता है. So it is called स्वभाववाद. स्वभाववाद is basically in a way चार्वाक rejects the line of thinking itself कि cause है, effect है, cause effect में relation क्या है, अगर है तो ये relation है नहीं है. चार्वाक लाइक कुछ वो बात ही नहीं करो, बस एक चीज है, दूसरी उसके बाद आती है, इसका कोई कारण नहीं. वो देखेंगे हम जब चार्वाक पढ़ेंगे, कल से चार्वाक ही पढ़ रहे वैसे भी. मोटा मोटा समझ में आ गया. ओके, that and these terms are important. Parinamvad, Brahma Parinamvad, Prakriti Parinamvad, Brahma Parinamvad, Brahma Vivartvad, Arambhavad, and you will understand the meaning. Arambha is starting, okay, Vivarth is projection, Parinam is transformation, change हो जाना पूरा, दही का दूध, दूध का दही, sorry, okay. On this basis, without the theory of causation of particular thinker, you will not be able to answer anything. ये basic framework है. Okay, so whenever we talk about Indian philosophy, the first and foremost that you should talk about is what is their stand on theory of causation. Are they parinamvadi? Are they vivartvadi? Are they arambhavadi or pratitya samutpadvadi? Okay, vadi means those who follow that vada. ठीक. ओके, इससे ज्यादा अभी मेटाफिजिक्स में नहीं जाते, बिकॉज देन फिर वो इंडिविजुअल फिलोसोफर हो जाएगा. वैसे ही लाइक वी हैव मेटाफिजिक्स, वी हैव थियरी ऑफ कॉजेशन, दैट इज कार्य कारण मीमांसा. इन एपिस्टेमोलॉजी देयर इज कॉल्ड प्रामाण्यवाद. Now, what is this Pramanyavada? Basically, discussion on Praman. Now, here, see, Praman. Now, normally, what does the meaning of word Praman is? We say that proof. Yes, correct. So, something that is valid. What is the Praman of it? Valid. Something that is reliable. Something that brings to you something that is true. The word pramana is made up of two words, prama and rna. Now, prama means knowledge or valid knowledge for that matter. Yes, prama is valid knowledge. Okay, this chair is black. Is it a valid knowledge? Yes. If I am saying x is equal to y, you are like yes, valid knowledge. For example, or saying this AC is white, valid knowledge. So it is called prama, and source of that valid knowledge is called pramana. Source of the valid knowledge is called pramana, right? Now, like theory of causation, everybody has their own version of theory of praman, but in a different way. Now, theory of praman, जैसे theory of causation है, वैसे theory of praman है. What is praman? What is the meaning of the word praman? Source of valid knowledge. Now, in Indian philosophy, there are in total 6 pramana, famous. 1, pratyaksha. Okay. Second, anuman. थर्ड शब्द, फोर्थ उपमान, फिफ्थ अर्थापत्ति, एंड सिक्स्थ अनुपलब्धि। अनुपलब्धि, these are the six schools of, sorry, six ways of or sources of valid knowledge. That is pramanas or praman in Indian philosophy. इसके अलावा किसी और चीज की बात नहीं होती. Sir, is it necessary to put dash on the letters and what does it indicates? First of all, it is not at all necessary either in your examination or in your notes. But when you study, you will understand the meaning. There is something called transliteration. Okay? अभी उन्होंने टॉपिक छेड़ दिया था, थोड़ा 5 मिनट दे दे. इंटरेस्टिंग तो है ही. It's very interesting because today is more of an interest and inclination. Okay, there is something called transliteration. Okay, those who understand Devanagari will understand me because Sanskrit is written in Devanagari. Those who do not, they have to bear with me a little bit. Now you tell me, what is this written? Rama or Ram. This is actually Ram. In Sanskrit, this is not the way it is written. In Sanskrit, it is always written like this, right? Rama. Rama. Now tell me, what is this Rama? Okay, और for that matter, अभी के लिए थोड़ा संस्कृत छोड़ देते हैं. ये बताइए, राम है और ये रम है, कितना अलग अलग मीनिंग है दोनों. ओके योगेश, हाँ. Now, how would you write it in English? The problem is they don't understand Devanagari script. You know the difference between script and language? Script is called lipi. Language is called bhasha. For example, English is the language and Roman is the script. आपने सुना होगा Roman script. और Hindi is the language and Devanagari is the script. आपने यूपीएससी के नोटिफिकेशन में देखा होगा, आप वो होता है कि कौन सी लैंग्वेज है, सिंधी, वो आप कैन बी रिटन इन 2 लैंग्वेजेस, 2 स्क्रिप्ट, सॉरी. और फॉर एग्जांपल उर्दू, आप जैसे कुछ वेबसाइट्स वगैरह तो उर्दू में भी लिखते हैं और हिंदी में भी उर्दू होता है, वही शेर हिंदी में लिखा, आई मीन देवनागरी में. तो स्क्रिप्ट अलग होती है. वैसे लैंग्वेज तो संस्कृति है, लेकिन स्क्रिप्ट अगर रोमन में लिखनी है तो, क्योंकि उनको तो देवनागरी आती नहीं, तो हम क्या करते हैं, राम को ऐसे लिखते हैं. रम को कैसे लिखेंगे, तो बवाल हो गया. So in normal life, it doesn't make difference because we know meaning. We don't read it as Ram. We read it as Ram. Okay, because the context will be knowing. You know, Ram is the king of Ayodhya. So we will not say Ram is the king of Ayodhya. No, Ram is the king of Ayodhya. But philosophy mein language becomes very very important. So when they came up with, they said no, we have to have some rules for transliteration. We cannot just कुछ भी लिख दें फिर बाद में उसका अर्थ का अनर्थ, you know, something will happen. So they say okay, when it is a, we put it dash. Now you know it is Ram and not Ram. Another thing, when it is Sat, for example. Now again, what is the meaning this Sat? Sat nahi, Sat. So Sat can be written like this, but this is not Ram, this is Ram. So they put A here. It is not Rama, it is basically Rama. That's why this A comes. This अंग्रेजों को नहीं आ रहा तो उन्होंने A डाल दिया. अगर if they want to write something like कुछ ऐसा वर्ड है अचानक याद नहीं आ रहा है. एनीवे जैसे word in Sanskrit there is this word called urja. Okay, you know this word urja. Okay, then you will write it like this, urja. Right? So when I is there, last word also will have bar. If it is Rama, for example, the word itself is Rama, then it will be RA-MA-. So basically डैश डालते ही आ हो जाता है. वैसे ही बहुत सारी चीजें आपको देखनी, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल C है, और फॉर एग्जांपल लाइक न, वी हैव दिस न आल्सो, वी हैव दिस न आल्सो, वी हैव दिस न आल्सो, एंड वी आल्सो हैव न आल्सो. सो फिर जैसे ये न के लिए तो ये नॉर्मल न होता है, ये न के लिए फिर वो इधर डालते हैं ऐसे, ये अणा के लिए फिर वो क्या करते हैं ऊपर डालते हैं ऐसे, इस तरीके. दैट्स हाउ दे हैव चेंज्ड इट, बट वी नो नीड टू वरी अबाउट इट. वी कैन जस्ट राइट, जहां जहां याद आ रहा है वहां लिख सकते हैं, गलती से नहीं लिखो. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल डोंट राइट दिस एज सत, इट्स नॉट सत, दिस देन इट बिकम्स सात. इफ यू डोंट नो जस्ट राइट सत, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड. ओके, और स्यादवाद, लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल वी हैव स्यादवाद, so like this syadvad. Okay, no need to write this also, otherwise it is syadvad, but no need to write this. ठीक, समझ में आ गया? Are you worried? No, you should not be. But if you write it as a matter of your habit, it's a good thing. उससे कोई extra marks नहीं मिलने वाला, but it looks good, it shows that you know. Okay, so pratyaksh. Okay, by the way, meaning of it पहले. Pratyaksh is perception. Basically, whatever knowledge I gain through my five senses is called pratyaksh. Like मैं देख पा रहा हूँ, सुन पा रहा हूँ, टच कर पा रहा हूँ, टेस्ट कर पा रहा हूँ, ओके, स्मेल कर पा रहा हूँ. इससे जो अंदर जाता है, like simple, no, I know this chair is blue. How do I know it? If I close my eyes and if you bring some chair and ask what is the color of the chair, I don't know, because I am yet to get the vision of it. Like that, sound, like rain, it's raining outside, how do I know it? Sound. Like that, five senses. इसलिए हमेशा perception is basically five sense वाला मामला, उसके बियॉन्ड कुछ नहीं. देख गया, जो दिखा वही चीज, जो सुना वही चीज, जो खाया वही चीज. अनुमान इज इन्फरेंस. नाउ बेस्ट एग्जांपल ऑफ इन्फरेंस इज, कोई साधु ऋषि मुनि इधर बैठ के पहले के जमाने में, दे सैट एंड दे लुक्ड एट मून, दे लुक्ड एट सन, एंड दे आर लाइक, नो, आई कैन गारंटी ऑन माय थिंकिंग बेसिस earth cannot be flat. That time only they had told us, on the basis of the curve and everything, no, earth cannot be flat, and they concluded the earth is round. Now they have not seen earth to be round. Do you anytime see earth to be round? No, for us earth is flat always. But inference कि अगर ऐसा है, अगर वैसा है, तो फिर यही होगा. Science is all inference. और best example of inference is given, smoke and fire. और हम बोलते भी जहाँ जहाँ धुआं है वहाँ आग तो कुछ होगी. So if you just imagine those times when you are standing on some part, some jungle, some hill, and you see the other side there is a lot of smoke coming. Even now also, if you are walking through or going through metro, walking or anything, if you see some smoke, oh, there must be some fire happening in some factory or something. For sure. How I see smoke तो आएगा नहीं. So when you infer things, अनुमान लगाना, इन्फरेंस, वो भी एक सोर्स ऑफ नॉलेज, ठीक है। देन कम शब्द, शब्द इज कॉल्ड टेस्टिमोनी, टेस्टिमनी ऑफ अथॉरिटी। बेसिकली जो वेद में लिखा है वो सच है, जाके चेक करने की जरूरत नहीं, ओके जो साइंस की किताब में भी लिखा है सच है। आइंस्टाइन ने बोल दिया कि देयर इज रिलेटिविटी, लाइक हाँ सही है। व्हाई आर यू एग्रीइंग दैट टू बी वैलिड? बिकॉज ही इज अ authentic person for this, to say this. So his authenticity is not questioned. So automatically what happened? You agree to that, or you add that to part of your knowledge. So shabd means testimony. Basically classic example of testimony is जो गीता में लिखा है वो सच है, ओके वेद वाक्य बेसिकली जो अथॉरिटी में लिखा है, जैसे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लिखा है ऐसा है तो है, क्या कर सकते हैं ऐसा। So testimony. Now are you understanding what are we talking about? We are talking about what all the sources through which we get valid knowledge. बात हो रही knowledge की, because without knowledge how would you talk about theory, reality? Then comes upamana, that is comparison. ये हम देखेंगे exactly वो कैसे, when we study about this thing we'll understand how upamana is a separate independent and valid source of knowledge. Then comes arthapatti, that is postulation. ये देखेंगे उस समय, ज्यादा कोई कॉम्प्लिकेटेड नहीं है। अनुपलब्धि इज नॉन परसेप्शन, ये भी एक तरीका है चीजें जानने का, ओके। नाउ not all philosophers agree to all the sources of knowledge. जैसे perception is generally agreed by all, in a way except Shankaracharya, but Shankaracharya sees it in a different way. व्यवहारिक लेवल पे ही also agrees the perception. Then comes inference. Inference is also almost agreed by all except चारवाक, वो बताएंगे हम कल लेक्चर में कि क्यों ऐसा बोला। All except चारवाक. शब्द is again almost accepted by all, but except चारवाक, Buddha, Jaina. But Jaina initially he starts with not accepting, but then they have their own testimony. So ये दोनों थोड़ा confusing वाले हैं, क्योंकि they come up with their own Tripitakas and Jain Granthas. So yes, so they do not agree. Otherwise, Charvak is the main who rejects it. Okay. Then Upamana. Now, Upamana is a very specific that was brought in by Nyaya and Vaisheshika. Okay, and also Mimamsa agrees to it. Later, others will say no, it is inference only. Okay. Then comes postulation. It's a very, very specific kind of thing that Mimamsa came up with. And somewhere Shankar also agrees to it. And Anupalabdhi, again Mimamsa, within Mimamsa only Kumaril Bhatt. Mimamsa, उसमें से एक ही thinker है, because the other one rejects it. Mimamsa, that is Kumaril Bhatt agrees to Anupalabdhi. Am I audible to you people? Yes, online ones, am I audible to you? Is there any technical problem? Just let me know. Okay. अभी के लिए इतना ठीक है. You understood what are we discussing about? Theory of knowledge, through what knowledge comes, in what way knowledge comes, what are the different ways to get valid knowledge. ये 6 है, उसमें से 2-3 बहुत ज्यादा डिस्कस्ड होते हैं. ओके, वेरी गुड. एंड अदर्स ओनली स्पेसिफिक टू दैट थिंकर. सो नाउ यू अंडरस्टूड इंडियन फिलोसॉफी में क्या है. थियरी ऑफ रियलिटी में थियरी ऑफ कॉजेशन बहुत सेंट्रल है. उसमें और भी इश्यूज हैं ऑब्वियसली. इसमें क्या है, एपिस्टेमोलॉजी में प्रामाण्यवाद और थियरी ऑफ वैलिड सोर्स ऑफ नॉलेज. ठीक, वेरी गुड. And then third one, the most important, that is bondage and liberation. Now bondage and liberation thing is also very important one. Now interestingly, almost all thinkers we will talk about bondage and liberation. So basically what they talk about, ultimate their concept of ultimate reality, then their concept of, for example, God, if at all, if it is there, then there is liberation. Okay, first of all, what is bondage and what is liberation? Everyone will also talk about some kind of ethical or moral code or do's and don'ts. Okay, they will talk about liberation, salvation. Okay, yes, and there will be God and soul basically, yes. Because liberation किसका? वो आएगा, you'll understand why I am saying this. Because but whenever we talk about liberation, moksha, there are different concepts here. Nirvana, kaivalya, viveka jnana, moksha, samadhi, Brahm. Okay, there are different versions, different explanation, but they are basically somewhere talking about. Any doubt? So when we talk about Indian philosophy, हमें every time try to think from this point of view. Metaphysics चल रहा है, epistemology चल रहा है या bondage liberation चल रहा है. Okay, now as I said, there will be certainly connection because there will be some kind of concept of God established here, will be used here for bondage and liberation. Here God is used in the context of bondage and liberation. Now bondage means some kind of bondage is basically there is this soul and the soul is in some kind of bondage, prison. So what do you do? How to liberate? Liberate the soul like this. For sake of understanding. Now what is this prison made up of? And how to identify, how to come out of it is bondage and liberation. For that, and this will be very similar to what you have been listening to, bhakti करके हो सकता है, yoga करके हो सकता है, samadhi करके हो सकता है. If you do some meditation, if you do this, do that, generally all these sampradayas that India came up with later on, including Buddhism, Jainism, everybody is basically focused on bondage and liberation. And then there will be concept of, obviously automatic concept of God. Now why do we need God, in what context, we will see it. Like for example, whenever we talk about bondage liberation, basically we are entering into the arena of Indian religious system. Two things are very important: soul and God. And basically there is one more very interesting point, is that something called world, which has some impact on these two fellows. So every time you remember, and it is not here, in philosophy Western, Indian, whichever way, these three are always the pillar of existences, pillars of existence. How do they come up with it? Simple. Very simplistically, if I ask you, in your experience of daily life or experience of life till now, right? You know I am there. Any doubt? Unless you start doubting वो philosophical level पे, normally I am there. What I am, what is the real nature of I, वो अलग question है, लेकिन कुछ जो भी है I है, I तो है, इसको soul बोल दिया. Other than I भी कुछ तो है, non I. So soul का मतलब basically I. World का मतलब other than I. So I know I am there. As far as my life experience goes, there is something called I, and there is something called chair, table, mountain, जो I नहीं है. I, non I. और इस सब के बियॉन्ड एक होगा, there would be something जिसको उन्होंने नाम दे दिया God. So these three conceptions are very, very central to all the philosophies and religion. You will not have any religion without the concept of either soul or world and God. You may say no, Buddhism में soul नहीं है, God नहीं, वो देखेंगे उस समय. Even if it is not there, there are different words used for that. It's not that it is not there, it is there, but in a different context. तो ये जो Trinity है will always remain in our paper 1 Western Indian and paper 2 also. Always. Whenever there is this conception, soul is there, world is there, God is there. Now see, now are you able to connect it to what we started off with? The conception is like this. Now, world is something which is there in front of me, that is appearance. God is something that is beyond all odds, it's real. तो फिर सोल क्या है? Think, now you have to think. This we started off with, appearance and reality. World is what it looks like, जो दिख रहा है वो God is real जो है. सोल क्या है फिर इधर? Appearance and reality तो आ गया. ये appearance और soul किसके लिए है? For whom it is appearance, for whom it is God. Okay, the soul is for which or for whom? These two. Okay, or whenever for whom means it is actually called subject. Last lecture we already discussed about subject, object and knowledge. Now yes, another real, that is another different thing, but it is real only. Soul is real only. Now see, there is no doubt about soul is real. वो उस पे फिर और discussion होगा. In Western you go, Descartes will come कि the one who is searching for reality, how can that be unreal? कम से कम you have to start off with that assuming it to be real. Now otherwise फिर पूरा exercise ही खाली हो जाएगा. That's how soul is agreed upon. But anyway, अभी के लिए इतना समझो. Whenever we talk about bondage and liberation and spirituality and all, there are always three things. The one जिसका जो bondage में है, जिसको salvation चाहिए, जिसके कारण वो bondage में है और जिसके कारण वो salvation मिल सकता है. Soul, bondage, liberation. That's how always been the case. Okay. So whenever we discuss bondage and liberation, you should always discuss in the terms of liberation, bondage, soul, liberation of soul, liberation of self. So if you see what happened in Indian philosophy, it is always the question that is who am I? Or basically real nature. Your pursuit to find real nature. Now real nature of I or human and non-I, that is world. And obviously ultimate reality, basically the ultimate, that is God. Now everybody will have their own explanation of I. Like somebody will said, this human being I, there is nothing non-material about it. It's all your body is you. There is nothing called some soul is there जो body के अंदर जाता है. It's nothing like that. आपकी body ही आपका soul है. That is called देह आत्मवाद, जो चार्वाक लेके आते. Somebody says no, how can you say that? How can body be me? Then how would I say that my leg is paining? What is this my? Whose leg is paining? Leg is not you, that means. This is my pen and this is my hand. Is pen me? No. That in the same way, hand is not me. There is some owner, there is some experiencer, there is some bhokta. Who is that real stuff? जिसका हाथ अभी मिला हुआ है, कल को चला जाएगा, दूसरा हाथ मिल जाएगा. Like today we have this pen, tomorrow there will be another pen. So we know this, in Gita also these concepts have been given. Transmigration. This body is like a clothes, shirt, जो अभी आपने पहना है बाद में छोड़ देंगे. Anyway, तो ये broadly इंडियन फिलोसॉफी में इस पे डिस्कशन होता है. Now let's come back to our basic this thing. When we say Indian philosophy, who all are we talking about? Charvak, Jain, Buddha or Bauddha. Then comes Samkhya, Yoga, न्याय, वैशेषिक, मीमांसा, Vedanta, and the 10th modern called Aurobindo. Okay, that is our syllabus. For now, अरविंदो को आप थोड़ा साइड में रखो, लास्ट में करेंगे. Now these three fellows, now you need to understand one thing. इंडिया में जो फिलोसफी है, ये कहाँ से शुरू होती है? मेटाफिजिक्स से शुरू होती है, ठीक है, बट आई एम टॉकिंग इन अ डिफरेंट कंटेक्स्ट. वेद से शुरू होती है, वेद उपनिषद. So somewhere like Ved and Upanishad is something that is all established philosophies. In a different way, there are so many Upanishads, 108 Upanishads. Of that, 11 are the most important. What is written in Upanishad? Upanishads are philosophical thoughts and all that. You know this. Now this is more थोड़ा digression है, लेकिन ये prelims के लिए important है. When we say Ved, What do we mean? No, Ved means with dhatu se aaya, with means knowledge. Ved means how many Ved? Basically 4. Rig Ved, Yajur Ved, Athar Ved, Vad Ved, Atharv Ved and Sam Ved. Now, when we say Ved, basically you need to understand that as a collection of works. ऋग्वेदा भी अपने आप में collection of works है. ऋग्वेदा कोई एक किताब नहीं है. In the same way, Yajurveda is not a one book; it's a collection of books. Now, what is this collection? Basically, everything is divided into 4. First is called Samhitas. Then it is called Brahmanakas. Then Aranyakas. And then comes Upanishads. So, every Veda has their Samhita. जैसे ऋग्वेद संहिता, यजुर्वेद संहिता, अथर्ववेद संहिता, सामवेद संहिता, like that. Everybody has their, now these are the basic, Samhitas are the basic text, poetic, very abstract and poetic way, very coded kind of thing, very small ones, ज़्यादा नहीं है. Later explanations on the basis of whatever written in Rigveda Samhita, some people came and extracted, I would say, things that are required for ritualistic aspect or basically day-to-day aspect. And there are many Brahmanakas. Uska itna, every this thing have many Brahmanakas. In the same way, those who are interested in Vanaprastha and Sannyas kind of this thing, they brought something. That is Aranyakas, basically austere life or life in the forest. So, you need to understand, Veda is knowledge, Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samveda for compilations, Samhitas they have in the form of some poems, very coded poems, जिसका meaning लगवाया. Some people applied that meaning in terms of कि इसमें से हमें क्या मिल सकता है सोसाइटी के लिए, क्या खाना चाहिए क्या नहीं खाना चाहिए टाइप्स. उदाहरण दे रहा हूँ. Somebody from the same Samhitas extracted कि what all things I should be doing if I am going to forest, Aranyakas. And then comes Upanishads. Upanishad is something which is very philosophical part of it, okay, speculatory part of it, Upanishads. So, and so many, it's not one people writing, Yagyavalkya Upanishad, Mundak Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, like that there are many Upanishads. Like every, ये ऋग्वेद के उपनिषद हैं जो नॉर्मली फेमस होते हैं वो ऋग्वेद वाले हैं, बिकॉज ऋग्वेद इज मोर फिलोसॉफिकल. यजुर वगैरह फिर जरा और कॉमन इसमें चले जाते हैं कि खेती कैसे करनी है, वो हर चीज़ है उसमें. यजुर्वेद में वो रिचुअलिस्टिक, मतलब ये यज्ञ कैसे करना है, उसमें क्या डालना है, उसके मीनिंग्स क्या है, वो सब इसमें फिलोसॉफिकली डिस्कशन आएगा. उपनिषद में बिकॉज ये मोस्ट एडवांस्ड ऑफ वेदास है, मोस्ट कटिंग एज ऑफ वेदास है, मोस्ट लास्ट ऑफ वेदास है, दैट्स व्हाई दे आर कॉल्ड वेदांतास. Vedanta philosophy means philosophy based on Upanishads. ओके, सो ये पूरा वैदिक वेरी 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 बेसिक है, ये बहुत सुपरफिशियल एक तरीके से, डिटेल में हम नहीं जा रहे हैं, बट ओवरऑल वैदिक सिस्टम इज लाइक दिस. एंड उपनिषद पे, उपनिषद याज्ञवल्क्य उपनिषद, श्वेतात्र उपनिषद, मांडुक्य उपनिषद, चांदोग्य उपनिषद, दे केम अप विद सम एनालिसिस ऑफ थिंग्स, एंड वी नो सत्यमेव जयते, यू नो ये सब उपनिषद से उठाए हुए, ठीक है. तो उसमें लिखा है कि ट्रूथ ऑलवेज विंस, मतलब उस टाइप के फिलोसॉफिकल थॉट्स. नाउ बिकॉज दिस इज लाइक अ लास्ट थिंग इन द डेवलपमेंट, दैट्स व्हाई इंडियन फिलोसॉफी, बहुत लोग बोलते हैं ना कि आगे क्यों डेवलप नहीं हुई, जरूरत ही नहीं है. सम पीपल लिटरली एक्चुअली से दैट उपनिषद में जो है ना उससे ज्यादा नॉलेज हो ही नहीं सकता. यू जस्ट rephrase the same thing and say, will say the same thing, will say the same thing again and again. So why to have another philosophy? That's why they are Vedantas. So जहाँ पे वेद का अंत है, वेद here means knowledge also. So where knowledge ends means where knowledge reaches its zenith. इसके ऊपर knowledge नहीं जा सकती, जो भी खोजना था खोज चुके. इस तरीके से वो, it is called Vedanta philosophy. ठीक. Now you might have heard this word in our syllabus, Vedanta is there, right? Now वेदांता में भी क्या है देखो, there is, now Vedanta is purely about metaphysics. Vedanta philosophy means who comes to our mind first? Shankaracharya. Now you need to understand Shankaracharya is the kind of pioneer of Vedanta as a philosophical this thing. Vedanta as a Upanishad, it was anyway there. There are many Upanishads there already, but somebody like Shankaracharya, what happened? Before Shankaracharya, there is something called, this fellow called Badrayan. He wrote a book or compilation called Brahma Sutra. Now, what is this Brahma Sutra? You see, Badrayan was a very intellectual person. So Badrayan sat together like इतने सारे उपनिषद तो हैं, around 108 पूरे, and हर जगह there is some mention of Brahma. Brahma is like this, Brahma is like. He was like, no, I have to compile everything together because Brahma is something very special thing. So I have to take from all this thing, compile it together, and in a sutra I have to kind of put it. Sutra means एक flow होता है, एक link होती है. So he wrote another compilation called Brahma Sutra. समझ में आ गया अभी? So अगर आप वैसे देखें तो ऐसे करते हैं. For example, 108 Upanishad. उसमें से जहां जहां ब्रह्म का मेंशन है, the book came that is called Brahma Sutra. Simple, no? समझ में भी आ गया. Brahma Sutra, Sutra of Brahma, written by Badrayan. And on this Brahma Sutra, somebody wrote Bhashya. Now, what is the meaning of the Bhashya? Critique. You know, जिस पे, you know, somebody gave bhashan on this. Bhashya is critique or explanation, whichever way you want to say. हम अभी भी आजकल भी चलता है ना कि एक मेन किताब पे किसी ने कमेंट्री, भाष्य इज बेस्ट, बेटर वर्ड इज कमेंट्री, इनफैक्ट नॉट क्रिटिक, कमेंट्री. And that's why there is no name for that compilation. The name of that compilation is Shankara Bhashya, because critique of Shankar on Brahma Sutra. And that critique of Shankar on Brahma Sutra is what Vedanta philosophy or Advaita Vedanta. So Bhashya written by Shankar. So Bhashya written by, for example, Shankar. Bhashya written by Ramanuja. Bhashya also written by Madhva. नॉट माधव, मध्व, आ नहीं है ये, मध्व है। लाइक दैट देयर आर अदर्स, वल्लभ, निम्बार्क, निम्बार्क, चैतन्य, इतने तो हम ले सकते। इन अ वे इसी पे आता है वो, इन्हीं के फ्लो में आते हैं औरबिंदो भी, बट औरबिंदो जैसे वो बहुत ही रिसेंट है तो उनको अलग तरीके से, बट इसी में आते हैं, इसी ट्रेडिशन में आते हैं। दैट्स व्हाई औरबिंदोज आर कॉल्ड नियो वेदांतिस्ट। बट ये ऑल चारों क्या है, वेदांतिन्स है। व्हाई वेदांतिन्स? बिकॉज they are deriving their whole philosophy on Upanishad and Brahma Sutra. There is this term, आपने you might have heard, and it's very important for your prelims. It's called प्रस्थान त्रयी, प्रस्थान त्रयी। प्रस्थान मतलब बेसिकली निकल जाना, प्रस्थान करना, एंड त्रयी इज तीन, जर्नी। प्रस्थान इज बेसिकली जर्नी और निकल जाना। त्रयी मीन्स तीन, बेसिकली थ्री थिंग्स दैट आर मस्ट फॉर लिबरेशन, वैकुंठ जाने के लिए, निर्वाण के लिए जाने के, whichever way। प्रस्थान त्रयी, कौन सी ये तीन चीजें पता होनी चाहिए? थ्री थिंग्स दैट आर कॉल्ड प्रस्थान त्रयी। You should have the knowledge of Brahma Sutra, Upanishad and Gita। ये रिलीजियस कंटेक्स्ट में बोला जाता है, जो तीन को पढ़ता है वो ज्ञान योग से प्रस्थान कर लेता है। तो प्रस्थान त्रयी में तीन कौन कौन है? उपनिषद, ब्रह्म सूत्र एंड भागवत गीता। ठीक है, एनीवे तो ये तो ऐसे ही एडिशनल पॉइंट प्रीलिम्स के लिए हो गया, प्रस्थान त्रयी। शंकर, रामानुज, मध्व, वल्लभ, निम्बार्क, चैतन्य, अरविंद। हमारे बेसिकली सिलेबस में ये तीन है, बाकी भी कभी कभी सवाल आते हैं। ऑब्वियसली अरविंदो तो है ही, अलग से हैं, बट इसमें भी एक आध बार सवाल आया है, वो सिलेबस में हम कवर तो कर ही लेंगे। शंकर, रामानुज, मध्व। नाउ दे हैव डिफरेंट इंटरप्रिटेशन देन ईच अदर। ब्रीफली बता रहा हूं। एक बोलता है सब एक ही है, उसको बोलते हैं अद्वैत। दो नहीं है तो मध्व बोलते हैं द्वैत, दो है। एंड रामानुजा काइंड ऑफ मिडल पाथ बोलते हैं विशिष्ट अद्वैत। विशिष्ट अद्वैत। वैसे फिर वल्लभ बोलेंगे शुद्ध अद्वैत, अलग अलग वर्जन है। निम्बार का बोलेंगे द्वैता द्वैत, द्वैत भी अद्वैत भी। चैतन्य बोलेंगे अचिंत्य भेदा भेद। ये बस ऐसे ही याद रखो, अभी कोई जरूरत नहीं है जब हम सिलेबस पढ़ेंगे। बस आई एम जस्ट काइंड ऑफ इंट्रोड्यूसिंग दीज टर्म्स टू यू। ये भेद मीन्स डिफरेंस, अभेद मीन्स आइडेंटिटी। भेद इज डिफरेंस, अभेद इज आइडेंटिटी। एंड सबसे फेमस इस पे कौन है? आपने सुना होगा अद्वैत फिलोसॉफी, अद्वैत शंकराचार्य, अद्वैत अद्वैत। ओके, एंड लेटर ऑन फिर वो भी फेमस है, लेकिन इतने फेमस नहीं जितने शंकराचार्य। ठीक है ना? तो समझ में आ गया, व्हेन वी से वेद व्हाट डज दैट मीन, व्हेन वी से वेदांता व्हाट डज दैट मीन। नाउ कमिंग बैक, ये सब ऑलरेडी एस्टेब्लिश था, उपनिषद ये वो, बट ये तीन बोले हम नहीं मानते। ओके, सो बेसिकली रिजेक्ट the authority of Vedas, reject the authority of Vedas, and that's why they are called न अस्ति, जिसकी अथॉरिटी नहीं है। अस्ति मीन्स होना, राइट? अस्ति नास्ति, न अस्ति और नास्तिका means they have नो अथॉरिटी, दे डू नॉट एक्सेप्ट द अथॉरिटी ऑफ वेदा, लेकिन वेदा वेदा ठीक है हमें नहीं पढ़ना, हम अपना लेके आएंगे इंडिपेंडेंट। तो दे आर नॉट सेइंग वेदा में जो लिखा है सब गलत है, दे आर जस्ट डू नॉट एक्सेप्ट विद अथॉरिटी ऑफ वेदा एज इट इज, दिस ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड। चारवाक तो चारवाक लेकिन बोलता है कि वो सब बकवासी लिखा है, वो अलग बात है, एक्सट्रीम जाता है, बाकी दोनों ने अथॉरिटी रिजेक्ट की है बस, बाद में उन्होंने जो बोला वो वही वेद में था, वही बोल दिया अलग भाषा में, वो हमें पता है, हम देखेंगे। एंड बाकी जो 6 लोग हैं दे एक्सेप्ट द अथॉरिटी ऑफ वेदास, so that they are called Astika. Now you need to understand, or you need to clarify the confusion that would have already arisen in your mind, I know. So normally we use the word Astik and Nastik in the different contexts, that is the problem. Now when we say Astik, what does that mean? Okay, when we say Nastik, what does that mean normally? Nastik and Astik, we already use this word in different languages including Hindi, Marathi, Bengali, most of the Indo-Aryan, jo bhi, whatever you want, Sanskrit based languages. What does Nastik means? Basically rejects God, simple, right? Existence of God nahi hai. Astik means accepts God, existence of God, simple hai. But ये philosophically, technically, strictly सही explanation नहीं है। सही क्या है? ये है, आस्तिक मीन्स वेदा को मानने वाले, नास्तिक मीन्स वेदा को एज इट इज और अथॉरिटी उसकी नहीं मानने वाले। तो फिर गॉड के कंटेक्स्ट में क्या वर्ड यूज करेंगे? तो इसके लिए अलग वर्ड्स हैं। somebody who rejects God, उसको बोलते हैं निरीश्वरवादी, and accept God is ईश्वरवादी। Right? So ईश्वरवादी and निरीश्वरवादी, because in Sanskrit, see, generally this God concept was not there in Sanskrit. So later on when it came, the people said, okay, let's have the different word, it is called ईश्वर। इसलिए आप देखना जो भी क्रिश्चियन मिशनरीज हिंदी में मिशनरी वर्क करते हैं, वो ईश्वर, ईशु, ईश ऐसे वर्ड इस्तेमाल करते हैं, बिकॉज ईश्वर मतलब गॉड, वो भगवान, ब्रह्म, देव, महादेव ये शब्द इस्तेमाल नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि उसका एक अलग कनोटेशन बन चुका है ना। और दूसरा चीज की देयर इज नो वर्ड एज सच इन बिग बिग पार्लेंस इन इंडियन फिलोसॉफी that can be equated with the God. See, God is very creator, sustainer, somebody who worshipable, somebody he gives boons and banes types. In Indian context, उसके लिए word है देवा, but देवा means different. Now word देवा आपने सुना होगा, देवा is actually deity, not God. देव बहुत है हमारे यहाँ, ब्रह्म एक ही है। So some people say, no, India is like Hinduism for that matter is a polytheistic religion. It is actually not polytheistic. ये तो ऐसा होगा ना कि आप अपने limited knowledge को, you have your limited conception and now judging something which is unlimited. ये deities अलग अलग है, इसलिए इंडिया में वो अवतारवाद का कंसेप्ट आता है, वो जो ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है। अवतार क्या होता है? इनकारनेशन। सी एक अगेन थोड़ा सा डाइग्रेशन है, ये डिबेट हमेशा इसी पे होता है। देखो गॉड कितने हैं, somebody said गॉड एक ही है, somebody said gods बहुत है, राइट? वैसे अलग गलत कंसेप्शन है, इंडिया डजंट एग्री लाइक दिस, बट ठीक है, आपको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, आपके लिए ठीक। तो इंडिया ने बोला देखो, एक तो गॉड बहुत सारे हम बोल रहे हैं, आप बोल रहे गॉड एक है, कोई बात नहीं, हम ब्रह्म को एक मान रहे हैं, या फिर उसके फिर जैसे बोलते हैं ना कि ट्रिनिटी, ट्रिनिटी ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश एक मान रहे हैं, उसमें से विष्णु बहुत बार आते हैं, वो अवतार लेते हैं, गॉड एक ही है, एकम सत ब्रह्म विप्रा बहुधा वदंती। तो नॉलेज वाले लोग हैं उसको अलग अलग तरीके से रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, मैनिफेस्ट करते हैं, ओके? तो ये गॉड नहीं है, बेसिकली ये देवाज हैं, मतलब इसके बाद वैसे देवाज आते हैं, डीटी, उस दैट एनर्जी इज जनरली लाइक, जैसे हम बोलते हैं स्टेच्यू होता है, गणेश स्टेच्यू, गणपति विसर्जन होता है, तो यू एक्चुअली डू नॉट बो डाउन टू दी लंप ऑफ सॉइल, लंप ऑफ क्ले के सामने थोड़ी होता है, उसके पीछे जो कंसेप्शन है ब्रह्म का, उसको आप बाउ डाउन करते हैं। लोगों को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, उनको लग रहा है कि ये मूर्ति के सामने कर रहा है, और मूर्ति का कंसेप्ट ही समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, तो हम क्या करें? अभी धीरे धीरे आ रहा है समझ में सबको। तो वो एक डिबेट भी है हमारे सिलेबस में भी, पेपर 2 में, पॉलीथीज्म, मोनोथीज्म एंड ऑल दैट। एनीवे, वो थोड़ा डाइग्रेशन था। एनीवे, सो ईश्वर इज गॉड इन आवर कंसेप्शन, ठीक? तो नास्तिक स्कूल 3 है, तो ये वेदा को तो नहीं मानेंगे। आस्तिक स्कूल कितने हैं? अथॉरिटी मानते हैं, लेकिन इसमें भी कुछ ऐसे स्कूल्स हैं who agree the authority of Vedas, but they do not depend directly on Vedas for their philosophy. So उसमें से ये 4 इंडिपेंडेंट लेके आते हैं अपनी फिलोसफी, और इनडायरेक्टली डिपेंडेंट बोलो आप, इनडायरेक्ट, and these 2 fellows are directly dependent on Vedas. Directly dependent on Vedas. And within this Mimamsa Vedanta also, Mimamsa is रिचुअलिस्टिक अप्रोच पे फोकस करता है, एंड वेदांता स्पेक्युलेटिव और फिलोसॉफिकल एस्पेक्ट्स को, ठीक है? तो अभी यही चीज एक डायग्राम से हम निकालेंगे तो आपको और समझ में आएगा। इंडियन philosophical schools, right? Basically 2 type, आस्तिक स्कूल और नास्तिक स्कूल। नास्तिक स्कूल they have 3 चार्वाक, जैन एंड बुद्ध। Astika schools, again there are 2 types, indirectly dependent or directly dependent. Indirectly dependent to Sankhya and Yoga is like one school, and Nyaya Vaisheshik. Directly dependent, there are two types. Ritualistic and philosophical. Ritualistic is Mimamsa and philosophical is Vedanta. So Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshik, Mimamsa, Vedanta, Charvak, Jain, Buddha. And this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that is Astika, are called Shadadarshana. Now the word, that's why the word in English for Astika here in this context is called Orthodox schools, and Nastika is called heterodox schools. Orthodox and heterodox schools. Now you tell me all the list of the schools that we are in the we have in the part of our syllabus. Again, Charvak, Jain, Buddha, Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, Vedanta एंड औरबिंद. टोटल 10 हो गए. यही सिलेबस है हमारा, इससे ज़्यादा नहीं, इससे कम नहीं. और चारवाक किसने लिखा, ऐसे कोई पर्सन नहीं है, बट मोटा मोटा बृहस्पति का नाम लिया जाता है, बट वो कोई एक्सर फिक्स ये नहीं है. जैन वी ऑलरेडी नो, महावीर, वर्धमान महावीर, एंड लेटर ऑब्वियसली पायोनियर आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. बुद्धा स्कूल वाज बाय सिद्धार्थ गौतम. सांख्य इज written by Kapila Muni. Kapila Muni. Yoga is by पतंजलि, तो सबको पता है. न्याय इज बाय गौतम, गौतम मुनि, और ऋषि गौतम जैसे भी गौतम मुनि. दिस गौतम इज डिफरेंट एंड सिद्धार्थ गौतम इज डिफरेंट. वैशेषिका इज बाय कनाद. नाउ मीमांसका इज बाय जेमिनी. बट हमारे सिलेबस में लेटर फिलोसोफर स्पेसिफिकली आते हैं, कुमारिल एंड प्रभाकर मिश्र एंड कुमारिल भट्ट. प्रभाकर एंड कुमारिल, ठीक है, दो ही है इसलिए मैं लिख रहा हूं. वेदांता इज as we said Brahma Sutra, and you can start with Shankara, and Aurobindo is Aurobindo himself. ठीक. Brahma Sutra Badrayan, but he did not write Vedanta philosophy, no, he just write Brahma Sutra. Commentaries of Shankar, and commentary became philosophy. Brahma Sutra in itself is not a philosophy. It is, but it's a codified. That's why. Okay. Now some last में we'll just discuss briefly some terms that we will be always using. Okay. What is called Jnanendriya? Okay, what is Jnana? Knowledge, or it is also called cognition. So we have something like Jnanendriya. What is it? Jnanendriya means? Yes. Senses of knowledge. How many? 5. And what are the processes of Jnana that they come up with? See, taste, smell, touch, and hear. In the same or not sequence, but in the same line, there is something called Pancha Mahabhutas. Now you understood why Mahabhutas also 5 only. They are linked. Prithvi, Jal, Agni, Vayu, Akash. Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So space, but ether is the thing. वो बाद में हम डिस्कस करेंगे. But everything is in Indian philosophy. Everything is one by one linked. Like water is linked with taste. Fire is with see or vision. Color, basically it is about color. Air is with touch. Earth is with smell. And ether with sound. ये याद रखना, ये बार बार यूज होता है. ये ऐसे ही 1 to 1 है. Because there is earth, we can smell. Because there is water, we can taste. Because there is fire, we can see color. Because there is air, we can see touch. And because there is ether, we can listen. Now you tell me, what is the locus of this line? Smell, touch, color, this thing. What is the locus? Okay, Gyanendriya, where is it? Body, very good. Very good. Yes. Okay, नहीं. Basically, knowledge process में subject is the locus. और इसका locus क्या है? Earth, water, fire, air, and this thing. Object. Now, वैसे I'll tell you. Smell means nose. Taste means tongue. Color is eye. Touch is skin. And sound is ear. आप ये बताओ अभी, इसका लोकस कहाँ है? ये तो पक्का लोकस सब्जेक्ट में है. ये ऑब्वियसली ये दोनों एक ही मान लो आप, अर्थ और स्मेल. ये बेसिकली क्या कर रहे हैं, ये फिर बाद में हम पढ़ेंगे. ये पंच महाभूतास है, तन्मात्रास है और ये ऑर्गन. Point is, because earth has smell, our nose is functioning. तो ये चीजें इसलिए दुनिया किस चीज से बनी है? पंच महाभूत से बनी. 5 महाभूत के अलावा कुछ नहीं है दुनिया में. होता तो हमें पता चलता, और अगर होगा भी, even if it is there, you will not be able to know it. Why? You don't have sixth sense. That's why people say sixth sense is something. Sixth sense is generally seen to be something beyond this knowledge. You know why? Because not just with senses, with something else you are not knowing something. That's why sixth sense. ठीक है? तो ये 5 sense and 5 properties basically. These are properties are in object and this is in subject. ये बस याद रखने के लिए जरूरी है, because you will be using it again and again. And there is one-to-one relation. Earth means smell. Earth cannot be compared with color. It is fire which always talk about color. Now this earth, fire, no, ये metaphorical names है. Actually earth, actual fire की बात नहीं हो रही है. ये metaphorical saying है. Earth has smell means और किसी के पास smell नहीं है. जहाँ पे भी smell है वो earth का ही part है. And इन सब 5 चीज से all 5 together, any particular physical thing is made. Okay. ठीक है. Then from my side, as far as the introduction is concerned, this much. Now you ask, if you let me know what are questions do you have, otherwise we can end it here for today. Any questions? Please go ahead. For YouTube people, I will wait for 2-3 minutes because there is lag, no? If they have some questions, they can ask. Otherwise, see you tomorrow at 11. Now tomorrow's class will not be YouTube live, so only those who are enrolled will be able to attend. But still, those who are in Delhi and want to attend the class maybe as a part of demo, they can come offline, but online it won't be made available. Okay. So if there is no question, so should we end the lecture today? Do you have any question? Yes, go ahead. Asatya and mithya. See, asatya is like, again there is a whole Shankaracharya chapter on this, but because now that you have asked, I will just briefly tell you the difference between when we say, you know, when there is a snake, there is a rope lying here, and the light arrangement and the movement is such that looking at it you can clearly see that it is a snake. It appears to, even if somebody told you no it is rope, you are like no, you are still scared. So something that appears to be something, but the point here is appearance also has some meaning here, because it creates some kind of activity in you. Even if somebody told you that it's not the way, you are like no, I am still not convinced. Asatya is something that you know 2 plus 2 is equal to 5. It is asatya at any point, or as we talked about, you know, घोड़े के सिंग, you know, horses horns. ये तो एब्सोल्युटली असत्य है, मतलब उस पर तो कभी हो ही नहीं सकता, आज कल या परसों कभी नहीं हो सकता. तो असत्य इज इटर्नली फॉल्स. तो ये 2 अलग अलग कैटेगरीज है. एक तो ट्रू है. ओके. सो when you know snake as rope as snake, it is illusion. rope को snake, तो snake, knowledge of snake is illusion. Knowledge of rope is knowledge. Rope as rope. is knowledge, but knowledge of sky lotus, golden mountain, knowledge of chocolate का बंगला, there is nothing called chocolate का बंगला, imagination है, वो knowledge नहीं, फिर वो असत्य है. वो इसलिए बोल रहे अपीयरेंस है, अपीयरेंस तो अपीयरेंस है, क्या कर सकते, जो दिख रहा है वो तो दिख ही रहा है. When you see some magic, what happens? You know, the person takes up one note and out of that he makes 10 notes. Now you can see, how can you say there is no note? He makes some tricks, but for you it is clearly notes तो बहुत सारी है, क्या कर सकते हैं, उसके पीछे रीजनिंग कुछ भी हो सकता है, बट नोट्स तो है. बट मैं बोल दूं कि देखो ये 10 नोट है, मेरे हाथ में एक भी नहीं है, तो ये असत्य है, ये अपीयरेंस नहीं है. समझ में आया? Not true, not false. It's false. It's absolutely false. That's why here the meaning of the word absolutely need to be understood. वो हम जब देखेंगे शंकराचार्य, ultimate, absolute, इसके भी अपने एक मीनिंग होते हैं. Relative and absolute. हाँ. फॉल्स भी नहीं है, एक पर्टिकुलर कंटेक्स्ट में तो वो ट्रू है, दिख तो रहा है, अपीयर तो कर रहा है, उसके हिसाब से आप जिंदगी भी तो जी रहे हो. नाउ दीज एग्जांपल्स दैट आई गिव वेरी ट्रांजिएंट एग्जांपल्स है ना. लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल अब तक तो हम समझ रहे थे XYZ पॉलिटिशियंस तो हीरा है एकदम, आज पता चला कि वो तो करप्ट है. तो इतने 15 साल तक मैं समझ रहा था वो अपीयरेंस था, बट उसके हिसाब से जिंदगी जी लिया, उसको नकार कैसे सकते हैं? Yes, how can you say that it is? But something that does not exist is does not exist. That is also व्यवहारिक, that is true at व्यवहारिक level. हाँ हाँ, व्यवहार different, transcendental, व्यवहारिक level, पारमार्थिक level. He comes up with the philosophy or existence at 3 levels: प्रतिभासिक, व्यवहारिक, पारमार्थिक. Okay, तो प्रतिभासिक means when you are sleeping, ड्रीम, ड्रीम में जब तक है वो ड्रीम सच्ची है. कोई ऐसा दुनिया में नहीं है जो ड्रीम के दौरान बोल रहा है कि ये ड्रीम आ रहा है, ड्रीम है छोड़ो, नहीं, वो बहुत ट्रू होता है. Once you wake up, that ड्रीम भी आ रहे, ये तो बकवास था, रियल लाइफ तो ये है. व्हाट इज द गारंटी कि ये ड्रीम नहीं है? ऐसा तो कोई, इसलिए बोलते ना लोग ऐसे करके देखो, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता, ड्रीम ड्रीम ही रहता है. बट ये अलग ड्रीम है, वो अलग ड्रीम है. एंड इससे निकलने के बाद पता चलेगा कि यार ये क्या बकवास चीजें कर रहा था मैं, ये सब बकवास था. अभी that's why the word used for realized being is awakened beings. यहां से आप उठ जाओ, then you realize अरे मैं सो रहा था, I was in a deep sleep, पता नहीं क्या, जब सो I was just doing the same thing that everyone was doing, I was wrong, now I have awakened, awake like that. ठीक है, चलिए, thank you very much, see you tomorrow. वो आ जाएंगे.